So it is by Robot Head. The video is Who Killed James Bond. Now, this was about 3 weeks old, but I haven't seen it, and I want to check it out. So I'm curious as to what he has to say because I don't think James Bond is. I don't think anyone killed James Bond. What I do think is James Bond is not as popular as before because the Daniel Craig era tried to be more serious in its approach and it tried to be more avant-garde, and by that it alienated a bunch of the marketability of James Bond. And what's funny is I'd say the Pierce Brosnan era was probably some of its most healthiest because it was not just the movies, it was the games, it was everything. With the Daniel Craig era, it went all in on the movies and it sort of just dwindled from there. So I'm curious what Robot Head has to say because yeah, I'd love to check out his reaction of. I'd love to hear his breakdown of it.
First time for everything.
Apparently, Daniel Craig, James Bond himself, has a problem with Austin Powers.
What?
What? He said that? Oh my god, are you kidding me?
No, what's going on there? Yes, he's come out with quite the quote here. He said, "We're to destroy the myth because Mike Myers fucked us." I'm a
What? What? I am confused by that statement, but whatever.
huge fan, so don't get me wrong, but he made it impossible to do the gags. He also said that Mike Myers' parody nailed so many classic Bond tropes that the franchise had to reinvent itself with a darker, more grounded tone, starting with Casino Royale.
Okay, all right. Now okay, that's bullshit, Daniel. And you know it, Daniel, because the reason why the Craig era happened is because Die Another Day was seen as too campy at the time. It was seen as too outlandish, too over the top. So they went into a more serious and grounded direction after the Bourne series was very successful. That's why they did it. Daniel, what the fuck is what is coming out of your mouth, you retard? I mean, I like you as an actor and all that, but like, dude, it's not because of Austin Powers, and you know it.
Polly, you're here to help me
Oh
with
boy,
this.
where do you start with this one?
When the hell does he think bloody Austin Powers came out? His film came out in
It
2006.
came out, like, his movie came out 9 years after.
Nearly a decade, and he's
Wow.
blaming Austin Powers.
Exactly. It came out years after. If you want to blame anything, blame the Bourne series. Pierce Brosnan, during the making of, I think, Everything or Nothing, like the documentary, he said that the Bourne series was what upped their game. And I totally agree because I remember uh, a lot of people were saying, oh, the next contender for Bond is Triple X, that Vin Diesel series movie. But it wasn't. It was actually The Bourne who was the sleeper hit. A parody put to shame James Bond. How lame can you be? I know. That's cope. That is cope right there.
That was-
Complaining.
Because then they'd be bad.
Yeah.
So, Polly, do you think that Daniel Craig is right?
Not even
It's fucking stupid. He's not. He's not. That is retarded.
slightly. So he was brought in to reboot Bond in a serious role, and I don't think he understands the history of his own Bond franchise.
He was introduced in short, little, tiny blue shorts, and he's worried about if it's serious or not. Now, listen, I think
I mean, listen, that scene, a lot of women fucking love that scene. I will say, when he came out like that, bare-chested men wasn't really a thing. You know that? You really? I mean, like, obviously there were like men who would, show how, bare, have some semblance of hair, but like, the Bonds before, they were like, they were hairy guys. Maybe not Roger Moore though. I remember him being very bare skin of the chest.
the most damage done to the James Bond franchise is by the James Bond franchise. Like, they start.
Okay, Die Another Day. Okay, I'm gonna put on my defending Die Another Day hat. Listen, tsunami scene, fucking ridiculous. Like, let's be real, it is fucking ridiculous. But I will say, I really like I really like a lot of the like stuff. There's a lot of elements I love of Die Another Day. For example, I love the opening where Bond is betrayed, and then like later on, you get a lot more of the segments where when he's coming back and he's escaping the boat in Hong Kong. I love the music in that, and Bond being on his own for about a good solid third of the film, and then he comes back, and then you have the Ice Palace thing, which is I enjoy it. I know people do not like it, but I mean, you get the fucking James Bond car chase scene to end all car chases. Bond's car up against a Bond villain car, fucking brilliant.
Started with Sean Connery, fairly serious.
Yes, handsome.
Some dodgy moments.
Okay, Connery, like, listen, Connery started off serious with his first two outings. When Goldfinger hit, he sort of leaned into the James Bond sort of he leaned into his own charm, and then by You Only Live Twice, he went a bit more into the fantastical side, and by You Only Live Twice, he did not give a shit. But in his last movie, Diamonds Are Forever, he brought it back, but that was the most like his performance was a lot better, but he was a lot more campier at that time. So he doesn't compare himself with previous Bonds, but with offshoots like Austin Powers, Triple X, and Bourne. Clearly, one of those don't research the material type of things nowadays happen in media. Well, listen. So it's fine to compare yourself to other franchises. That's totally cool, but Brosnan was right in comparing himself to Bourne because at that point, Bourne, Triple X, and Bond were all set to come out around the same time. Bourne came out in 2001, and that beat Die Another Day and Triple X, I believe. And when those two films were a lot more campy and I guess more over the top extreme, whereas Bourne was a lot more grounded, and a lot of people were kind of, I guess, over the top nature of like the spy film genre at the time. That sort of ended the Brosnan era, which fucking sucks, but I digress.
Moments we'll come back
Dodgy
to.
but handsome.
Roger Moore started already going a lot more lighthearted with Roger Moore. He admitted
I mean, listen, Roger Moore's era was a lot more on the camp side, let's be real, but it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
that himself that he thinks that's the only way he could play it. Sorry, nearly forgot. In between that, we had George Lazenby.
Lazenby.
Lazenby. I'll
There we go.
get that right one of these
Good
days.
Aussie.
Seeing he's a fellow Aussie, I should be at least be able to say his name. He was in between. He played it very seriously in On Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Yeah, that
Yeah, George Lazenby, he's my least favorite Bond. I think his acting is pretty bad. I'm gonna be real. I'm not really a big fan of his performance. That being said, he is up there in terms of closest to playing James Bond to the book, outside of Timothy Dalton and Sean Connery's first two outings, and maybe Skyfall Bond.
that's the film that should have killed it. If anything was going to kill that franchise, it would have been Bond getting married.
Well, they did.
No, okay, no. I mean, it's based on the adaptation of the book, and it was a tragedy. It was one of the best moments. I'd say it doesn't, but yeah, it just I I don't know. Like, I don't think it would have killed the franchise. I mean, the thing is, Bond will always he will always be there. Uh, I'd say it doesn't matter. JB had a better IP strength. Why compare yourself with something you inspired instead of something you have a source, movie, books, and more? Yeah, James Bond as a franchise is the strongest spy franchise out there. It is. Mission Impossible, it's a good action franchise. Don't get me wrong. But let's be real, the last two movies, as much as I enjoyed them and I really liked them, box office wise, they didn't do well. Whereas James Bond, granted, the last couple of Craig films didn't didn't do as well as Skyfall, but they were still strong before in terms of box office wise. They were still strong because that James Bond IP is still good. Daniel Craig kept ignoring what James Bond is and compare himself always with Vin Diesel and the rest. Yeah, I mean, like, listen, he didn't compare himself with Vin Diesel. Pierce Brosnan compared himself with those others because it was around that time. But Daniel Craig comparing himself to Austin Powers Bond and saying, well, that's what killed it. We couldn't crack jokes. Really? Pressing X down on that one, mate.
Did have the sense to just kill her literally 2 minutes after they got.
Again, killing Tracy, one of the greatest moments in the movie franchise and one of the greatest moments in the book series. It's heart-wrenching, it's honestly gut-breaking, and yeah, reading the novel is really well, like, it's great. The movie itself, I think, does a better job of the relationship because of Diana Rigg herself. The actress was fantastic, and she has great chemistry with George Lazenby. They were just that last couple of Craig movies and not James Bond movies. Yeah, that is true. The last couple of Craig Bond movies, they weren't. They didn't set the world on fire. They weren't. They're not as culturally relevant as, say, the the Brosnan era to that extent. Dalton era, Roger Moore era, even Lazenby and Connery.
Got married.
I know, but it was a great movie, actually. One.
But quickly,
Yeah, Honor Her Majesty's Secret Service is a great movie.
do you ever find yourself watching Netflix or maybe an amazing video on YouTube and think,
Oh, is this an ad? Is this an ad? Okay.
if only I could be making
Well, let's see what he has to advertise.
money while doing this with minimal effort? Well, you're in luck because today's sponsor wants to give you money. In fact, they'll give you $5 just for checking them out.
This seems a bit too good to be true. Free cash. Hold on. I am curious. What is it? Get paid for testing. Huh. Okay. I don't know how I feel about this, buddy, but all right. You got to get your bag somehow.
Who are these crazy money people? They are Free Cash. What is Free Cash, you may ask? Free Cash is an online platform where users from all over the world can
Really? Like, this advertises gambling. I don't know how I feel about this.
sign up for free and make money online by playing mobile games from different categories. Let me
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't do this, but hey, if you... I don't know the website. I don't know if they're trustworthy or not, but listen.
show
Maybe
you.
he did
You
the
just log
research.
in, choose an offer. Hey look, Monopoly. Who doesn't like Monopoly? Especially when you remove all the family fighting. Yes, you just start playing and that's it. Money into your account. Look at that. Just for 2 minutes of Monopoly and I've got $11.
Okay. Huh. But what's the catch? Like, what's the catch?
It's that simple. And make sure to enable app tracking so Free Cash can reward you according to your progress. And
App tracking? Huh?
look how simple it is to get a cash out. Choose how you want to be paid and money straight into your account, depending on your...
Robot head, I love you, but this I don't know, man. This feels a bit weird.
Your country, your interface might look slightly different, but the functionality is just the same. So if you do like money, try Free Cash today. And by just clicking in the link in the description below or scanning this QR code, you will get a $5 bonus on your first offer started.
Yeah. But what's the catch? Like, I don't get it. Robot head, if you're watching this, please inform me a bit more of this. Like, I'm going to upload this as its own reaction, so just I'm gonna tweet this and I'm gonna mention you and all that, and I hope you like. I'm curious, okay? I would like you to tell me because, like, honestly, this feels weird.
Free Cash has a 4.7 rating on Trustpilot with over 265,000 reviews. Use my link, give them a go, and get $5. Not bad.
All right. I guess killing wives then.
It's Blofeld.
Oh God. This scene always bloody gets me. Fucking hell.
I
It's
think
one
it's
of the
one of the better
best.
ones. I avoided watching that one for years for some reason, thinking it was going to be.
Yeah, so the reason why people avoid watching this one is because it is the one with the one sort of bond, and I totally get that. As a as a fan of the franchise, I totally get that. You go through the Connery era where it's a consistent guy, and then you have the Moore era, consistent guy. Well, with Connery, you get consistency for like 5 movies, and then he's out, and then like they bring him back. It's really weird. That being said, On Her Majesty's Secret Service, one of the best films in the franchise, like genuinely.
Be terrible. It's actually one of the better Bond films.
But no one complained. People didn't think, oh, we can't do another Bond movie.
And then we went to Roger Moore, where we really
Okay, that's a funny image. I fucking love that. But yeah, in terms of, well, the thing is though, is that there was some like hesitancy because they wanted Lazenby back, but then they were like, okay, fuck it, let's bring in a new actor. And I think they brought in an American actor, and then all of a sudden they're like, fuck, we need to get Sean Connery back. And they eventually brought back Sean Connery. And again, the rest is history. Sean Connery was brought in, and then he only did one more picture, and then Roger Moore came in, and then we have, well, Roger Moore continue on into A View to a Kill.
silly to start to take off. And we had the debacle of 1983. I was going to say 1983, where 2 James Bond films came out by 2 different companies.
Oh God, yeah, Octopussy, the better of the 2 movies, and fucking Never Say Never Again. I hate that movie. I know it has its fans, but honestly, it's my least favorite Bond film.
Yeah, we had, Eon, that's like the owner of the Bond franchise, produced Octopussy, and that was with Roger Moore. And then...
Great film. I love it. It's underrated movie in the canon. It's that, Tomorrow Never Dies, and like, I want to say Moonraker, and like one of the Connerys, like You Only Live Twice or Thunderball. Those are my like switch off the brain sort of movies and go along with it. Granted, Thunderball probably less so.
Another company made Never Say Never Again with Sean Connery.
So Daniel Craig's having a problem with a franchise that in its own franchise had a film called Octopussy.
Yes.
And he thinks Austin Powers was the problem here.
Yeah.
And in
Okay, yeah, but listen, Octopussy was based off a book, and weirdly enough, it wasn't a pervy book. It was very like, they even brought in that backstory within the book and transplanted it within the series. It's quite cool. Quite like it.
Never Say Never Again, a scene that got cut, they actually had Sean Connery was going to open the film to jump out of a plane.
Yeah.
Just before he jumped out, he was going to go to leap, stop, take off his toupee, put it aside,
No.
and then jump out the plane.
Was he really?
And at the last minute, they cut that scene. I don't know if they ever actually filmed it. They might have had to cut it, but
But
it never made it.
That's
So,
crazy.
Daniel
Press X'd out on that one.
Craig, do you even know your own series if you're going to start blaming Austin Powers?
I was just going to say, you know why it was called Never Say Never Again? Because Sean Connery basically said he would never play Bond again.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that's true, but essentially his wife was like, oh, you should use it as a title. And he was like, oh, yes, of course, I'll fucking do it.
But cashola, the check came through with enough zeros on it to get him to put that toupee on.
And to stand in the...
Okay, so don't know if they know this. The reason why basically Sean Connery did this was because he felt like he wanted to cash in on the character. He was so pissed off at playing it before, and now it's like, fuck it. Kevin McClory, who basically held the rights to Thunderball, the book, the story, because he claimed it as his own, and fucked it, probably led to what Ian Fleming having a heart attack or something like that. Because I remember, like, he was in a lawsuit, and then he passed away. But essentially, Blofeld, or Spectre, a lot of the rights of the early Connery movies essentially was in the hands of Kevin McClory, and he really wanted that James Bond thing, and he felt like he was owed it, and he stuck a knife. Basically, Connery was like, "Okay, fine. If you pay me enough money, I'll do your shit. I'll do your shitty Bond film." And that's how we have Never Say Never Again. It was a couple of guys who felt like they were owed something, and we got it. And honestly, feels weird watching it. I know people like it, but like I can't shake the feeling of it's kind of weird.
Pool with Kim Basinger. So we
That-
got paid enough for that.
Which is as bad as taking the toupee off, because that looks like a girl with her grandfather.
That was awful. But actually, one of my favourite villainesses is in that one. Her name's Barbara Carrera. She played Fatima Blush.
Oh my lord, Fatima Blush. That woman, Fatima Blush. That woman, she is smoking hot. She is brilliant, and she like if Eon like stole anything the from the series, from that movie, it was probably Fatima, because she is a blueprint for Xenia Onatop in Goldeneye. Like straight up, both have really unique sort of dresses and what they wear and all that. Very unique, but also they're fucking nuts.
Fatima Blush.
Yes, it's like so 80s.
Sounds like an Austin Powers name.
And she explodes.
I'm sure she
It's one of the
does.
most brilliant deaths. She just totally explodes.
Oh yeah, it's so like I will say when she dies, the movie just falls off a cliff for me, but like the bit where Connery is like where she's like she has him at gunpoint, and then he's like, "Oh yes, I was going to write you as number one on my list of hot women I had sex with." And like she basically gets him to write something on a page that says she is the best sex he had. And he has a funny quip. It's so hilarious when he goes, "I just remembered, it's against company policy to bring out endorsements," and it's so hilarious. And then he uses the pen because it's like a gun sort of thing. He fires at her and she blows up. It's one of my favorite moments in the film, and yeah, otherwise, it's not really a great film. I will say she is a standout in that film in particular.
Hilarious.
That's why Sean Connery came back.
Oh, there we go. We show it, and yeah, it's pretty cool.
After that, we had Timothy Dalton, who played it very seriously. Then they were trying to get it to him.
Dalton. You know, I have a soft spot for Timothy Dalton. I think his second movie, License to Kill, is definitely the better out of the two films. That's where they honed in on a series. Granted, I will say it does feel a bit cheap, but The Living Daylights sort of feels like it could have been made for any Bond. License to Kill really zoned in on Dalton's talents as Bond, and I fucking love that.
More serious tone. Back with Timothy Dalton, who was then replaced by Pierce Brosnan. Pierce was an early favourite.
Pierce Brosnan, my Bond, my favorite Bond. I know Connery is like everyone's favorite because he's the original, or some newer fans like Daniel Craig because he's more serious and grounded. But Pierce Brosnan, man, he will always be my Bond. He is Bond for me. He is James Bond.
Before Timothy Dalton, but he couldn't get out of making Remington Steele.
Yes, that is a famous story where essentially he got the gig of James Bond for The Living Daylights, and on the last day of the Remington Steele contract that was going to be up, they signed it, and he couldn't do James Bond. He had to do Remington Steele for one last season.
TV show. So they had to wait for him for that show to finish to finally get him on board. But again, talking about the silliness, in his last film, they have an invisible car and...
All right, I will not take this. The invisible car is cool, okay? There, I said it. I like the invisible car. Is it silly? Sure, whatever. I don't give a fuck. It is so cool. Like, the car is awesome, man.
He surfboards or windsurfs
That that I cannot defend. Like the whole windsurfing thing, that I cannot defend. It is stupid and corny, but I will say the music is awesome and it's fun to watch it with some friends.
A tidal wave. So Daniel Craig, if you're going to look at silliness, look at the film that was made just before your film.
Yeah, I would
Yeah, and that's the reason the producers went in a more serious direction. Not Austin Powers is the reason why you went serious, Daniel.
say it's a bit of a gradual decline, wouldn't you say?
No, I think there was a big decline in the James Bond franchise way before Austin Powers came out.
Okay. Immediately I am what are you saying there, robot head? What are you saying, buddy? Because I don't really agree with it.
Yeah.
Uh,
I think really just after like the first 4 or 6 movies, then it was all
Okay. I will not take Moonraker slander. What are we doing here? I will not take Moonraker slander.
downhill from there.
yes, Roger Moore was the beginning of the silliness of James Bond, and
Okay, yeah, but like his movies were entertaining and they brought in money. Okay? Let's like no James Bond movie has done poorly in terms of box office. That's just not true.
people love that era though.
Okay, No Time to Die, maybe not.
Roger's very, very important. But
Yeah.
another thing Daniel Craig wants to ignore that between Pierce Brosnan's
Oh god, I keep seeing that. I'm like, it's rough to look at, man.
windsurfing down a tidal wave in an invisible car, we had
Okay, Invisible Car, let's cut that out. I love it. It's a great car. Like, move on.
2 Bourne films came out.
Well, that's the real issue, isn't it? That's the one he side.
Yes, the Bourne movies were the reason for it. It was the reason why your series went in a more serious direction, Daniel.
Step. He's pretending Austin Powers was the real issue, but really it's because they had these spy thrillers that were coming up the ranks, weren't they?
Well, we had The Bourne Identity in
Yeah.
2002 and then Supremacy in 2004. People love those films.
Yeah.
Oh my god, what? I mean, I like the Bourne trilogy. It's good. But like, what is wrong with Matt Damon's face there? Look at that. Holy hell, what is wrong with like that? That looks fine. It looks natural. But then all of a sudden, what the fuck did they do? Did they airbrush his face? Why does it look so janky? It looks so weird. Did they airbrush it? What is wrong with his face?
Steroids
That's
and
it.
taken very, very seriously.
Yeah, and they were brilliant.
That's
Yeah, I would say the Bourne trilogy, really well done. Bourne Legacy and Jason Bourne, not so great. Jason Bourne was fine. I enjoyed it at the time, but
Daniel Craig is what they were trying to copy when they did your films.
Yes.
It wasn't so much let's avoid the humor. It was like people actually enjoy a good spy thriller. We've got the ultimate spy thriller. What are we doing? Windsurfing on tidal waves and calling people pussy galore.
okay, all right, hold on. I gotta admit, I freaking enjoyed Casino Royale when it came out. I still do, but it has diminished with the Craig era because when you intrinsically tie all of the movies together, it has the effect.
When we can take it seriously.
Yeah.
Something they shouldn't have done because it completely lost who the James Bond character was, the international man of mystery.
Do you like James Bond movies?
Very much so. Not all of them,
No.
obviously. But talking about the international man of mystery, which was James Bond, the comedy international man of mystery, Austin Powers, wasn't even really riffing on the modern James Bond films. He was
Not
riffing.
even slightly.
There was plenty of spy films and spy
Okay, it was riffing off the classic Connery era, for sure. But it was taking a lot of inspiration for, like, I think the movie Our Man Flint. Because essentially he has a lot of, like, the way he dresses, it's very bombastic and very unique.
shows from around that time that he was making fun of.
You know, a lot's changed since 1967. No doubt, though. But as long as people are still having promiscuous sex with many anonymous partners without protection, while at the same time experimenting with mind-expanding drugs in a consequence-free environment.
I mean, sounds like a fucking great time. I like the 60s.
I'll be sound as a pound.
And the jokes he made were so on the nose, so out of date. Did Daniel Craig really want to have jokes around names like Pussy Galore?
No,
I mean, like, listen, when you had like, the thing is, even in Goldfinger, they treated it like a joke. Like, the first thing he says is, I must be dreaming. It's like, yeah, to be honest, never seen Craig's movies as Bond movies. Felt like offshoots just wearing the name. Yeah, so the Craig era, weirdly enough, I will say this. The Craig era towards like Skyfall to No Time to Die, they felt like classic James Bond movies with a twist, and it sort of fucked it. Like, so Casino Royale, really good movie. Skyfall is probably the closest we have to You Only Live Twice. You Only Live Twice book Bond. Like the way he's portrayed in that is very reminiscent of the book. With Spectre, it's more of the classic sort of Bond sort of style. And then with No Time to Die, at least up until the Cuba sequence, it was very much like, oh, I could buy this being classic Bond. And then the rest of the movie happened and fucking ugh.
I don't think. I think we'd moved on from that, hadn't we?
No, but Austin Powers had a lot of vagina, which was hilarious.
A lot of vagina.
I'm sorry, I'm just not getting it. It sounded like you said your name was a lot of,
Something that was funny in a
I mean, yes, a classic name for a classy lady.
comedy looking at James Bond.
Yeah.
Did we want the countdown clock with the guys still counting down to 0 for the bomb to go off while mayhem is running around him?
Oh god, that was hilarious. I love that. And that is a nice dig because like I think that's what happened in Diamonds Are Forever, if I remember correctly. Where that guy's like 2 minutes and counting.
Did we want the silly plastic suits? Or do we want the cliched killing people off screen so they have a chance to escape?
Boom! I'll blow their brains out.
Yeah, I mean like the Austin Powers movies were a nice parody. They were really good parody. But like with the Craig era, you can do comedy, you just don't do parody. That's how you do it. Like I remember Guy Hamilton, he had this not in the commentary, but in like one of these making of series, and he directed Goldfinger, which is considered one of the best films of the franchise, probably the best to a lot of people. But he did say that when making the film, like the opening credit sequence is a bunch of nonsense. And when he crafted it, he said, okay, if you enjoy that, let's all have fun. And that's what he did. He made Bond fun. And that's what allowed the franchise to thrive and hit the stratosphere in the 60s.
Scott, you just don't get it, do you?
And the $1 million where they show Dr. Evil that his corporate businesses are making more money than his evil network. That's the joke too.
Yeah.
That the old villains could have made more money just having businesses. In this day and age, the biggest villains, the biggest criminals are businessmen. That's
a tale as old as time.
the joke.
Yeah, that's what was so brilliant about Austin Powers.
All the jokes in Austin Powers are jokes on that era. Everything that he's joking on couldn't be put into a modern James Bond film.
Yeah, and that was kind of the
Yeah, that's true because it was more of a commentary of just how the 60s were and how times have changed. But the thing is though is that with James Bond, you don't need to have jokes of the time. Just have James Bond crack jokes, but don't take you out of the experience. You don't need to parody yourself.
point of the movie too.
Yeah, how
That
out
we've
of date.
moved on, and yeah, but I mean, we love it anyway. We look back nostalgically with reverence, and we love it.
I'll help Daniel Craig out. The whole point of the film, Austin Powers is out of place.
Yes, exactly. That is the point of the movie. Daniel Craig is fucking retarded for thinking that. They're completely different franchises. Move on.
Guy from the past,
Yes.
from the 60s.
From the wonderful magical time
Yes, of sex,
of-
drugs, and rock and
and
roll.
glamorous women.
Yes, is brought into today, and it doesn't fit. And all the ways he behaves don't fit.
I shagged her.
I mean, I would have shagged a lot of vagina too. I mean, have you seen her?
What?
I shagged her rotten, baby. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what is
Hell yeah. Respect, Austin.
Daniel Craig talking about? Does he want to bring in
I don't know.
those?
That's exactly
those
right. It's
times
like he's
into the-
complaining because he can't be campy.
Yes. Does he want to be campy? Does he want to have someone called a lot of vagina? Does he want to be able to joke about farting in the spa? Like,
Yeah, like, listen, if he really wanted those sort of jokes, it would have been terrible. Like, the thing is, with the Roger Moore era, it was a lot more on the campier side. But that being said, there were moments where Roger Moore knew when to dial it back in, and he knew when to take things really seriously. Like, one of my favorite moments is in Octopussy, where this one guy is about to stab him and kill him. And then, you know, he is able to outwit him and kill him. And then he, with a serious face, no joke, he says, "That's for 009." It's a great little moment. He takes it really seriously. And in that moment, I'm like, shit, yeah, James Bond is pretty dark. And the thing is, though, is that Roger Moore, he could play the campy jokes, but he could also play serious moments. That's what the character is.
like
Anyway,
my favorite joke in the Austin Powers series is in the hot tub. The joke about women come second, and Austin says sometimes not at all.
Men come first and women come second.
Or sometimes not at all.
but it was always a fine line, wasn't it? Like a traditional James Bond was always riding that fine line. It wasn't, you wouldn't call it a comedy by any means, but it was not a serious spy thriller, and it was always just like tongue in cheek, wink at the audience, kind of double entendres, right?
Yeah, I mean, listen, with James Bond, there were moments where, the girl is, the girl's pretty, like, they have ridiculous names. Like, I can't remember the Japanese one, but it's like a Kissy something, and then you have Honey Rider, Pussy Galore, obviously, Octopussy, but at the same time, it's like, some of them are taken seriously in the moment, and like some of them you can have a bit of fun with.
Right? He basically is kind of declaring that they had to change direction because of it. But there were 3 Pierce Brosnan movies after Austin Powers.
Yes, they got sillier and sillier.
Yeah, but
Okay, let's not go with the whole silly and sillier. Die Another Day, maybe the silliest out of the 3 movies. But that being said, it was pretty fucking great. It's a lot of fun.
But it makes no sense that he's saying that Austin Powers was to blame.
Yes.
Yeah, Austin Powers is not to blame. Like, it's just, that's false.
But Pierce wasn't complaining, is my point.
And Daniel Craig, the big
Yeah, Pierce Brosnan, listen, the only thing he complains about, he only complained about, was being essentially fucking let go. He did it, it was over the phone. Like, that's heartbreaking for the guy.
pull, doesn't it?
Like, imagine you are cast as James Bond. You lose that gig. You finally get your dream job of being James Bond. And then how are you fired? Over the fucking phone. Like, that's gotta suck.
Doesn't even want to recognise that there was a parody of James Bond way before Austin Powers.
Yeah, again, that movie, Casino Royale, the original 1967 version, it came out before You Only Live Twice. It's not a good movie, and it's no one's favorite movie.
Way back in the 60s, 1967, that had some of the original
Yeah, 67.
actors in it.
Yeah, it
The
had
original Casino Royale.
yeah, and
Yeah, that. Again, parody. It wasn't made by Eon. It's not good.
And that was straight after Thunderball and straight before You Only Live Twice. And that was with David Niven, Peter Sellers, Ursula Andress, and like a whole cast of thousands.
Yeah, a lot of people were in it, and it had like 6 or 7 directors. It was nuts.
And that was a real comedy. And it had all.
It wasn't a comedy. It was a shit movie. The comedy was pretty bad in it. Like, there's not really much good comedy in it. Gonna be real. Like, I think the only like there are some subtle gags I quite liked, but like other than that, it's not great.
All of those classic scenes there in Austin Powers where, you know, Peter Sellers is like falling all over that rotating bed and Ursula Andress is on the bed with him.
Let's not forget Ursula Andress.
Yeah.
Yeah. Arguably the most famous Bond girl. Like the first Bond girl.
It's the most famous
The
James
most
Bond
famous.
scene ever of coming out of the water with the
Like that. That's just classic. She was a classy lady.
shell.
Yeah.
And 5 years later or something, she's in a spoof about James Bond.
Yeah.
They call
It
him.
wasn't an issue for her, was it?
He's called James Bond in the film.
Thank you, and welcome to France, Monsieur Bond.
I mean, yeah, but that has so many. I don't even want to get into it because like James Bond is like they basically make the James Bond code name in that, and what I think is this subconsciously probably made the James Bond code name theory.
So it's not even an Austin Powers piss take. It's an actual James Bond film where they're making fun of James Bond, and that didn't hurt the franchise.
Yeah. They even did other similar things that, like Woody Allen, I think he's playing his James Bond.
Yeah, so he's playing Dr. Noah, I believe, and like he's so he takes on the name of Dr. Noah, but he's like James Bond's like what is it? Nephew or something, and he's like there's this funny bit at the beginning where he's about to be executed, but then he escapes and he turns into a bad guy villain.
Bond's nephew or something like that. And he's evil, just like, you know, how Scott becomes evil. You know, Dr. Evil's son, Scott, becomes a bit evil. So there are so many crossovers, but that's clearly his inspiration.
You just don't get it, do you, Scott?
Yeah. And even some of the songs are actually the same, like The Look of Love, Dusty Springfield. That's from the original Casino Royale, used again in Austin Powers.
Yeah, and the like I could totally see Austin Powers like taking some of the stuff from Casino Royale, but like in a modern context with better writing, it just worked a lot better.
So, you know, I don't know, what is he talking about? There were like 16 or 20 movies after the original spoof Casino Royale. But Daniel's whinging that it's stopping the franchise from you know, being fully realised. What's he...
Dude, the more I hear of Daniel Craig, like again, I don't know the articles, but like if they are saying what it's to be believed, fucking hell, Daniel, what are you smoking? I want some of that shit.
talking about?
Do you know what James Bond film came out the same year as the original Casino Royale, the spoof?
You Only Live Twice?
Yes, You Only Live Twice. And
Yeah, You Only Live Twice. It's a fun movie, but like Sean Connery is not at his best.
Daniel Craig wants to think there's a problem with spoofing James Bond when the year the original spoof came out, we had You Only Live Twice that had Sean Connery dressed as an Asian person.
Okay. It's fucking ridiculous. But like it's based off the novel. I'm not defending it, but like dude, like Sean Connery as being a Japanese man, it's fucking classic. I fucking love it. It's hilarious.
Acting Asian, wearing
No.
Asian makeup.
Oh, boy.
Now, if something's going to hurt your franchise, it's probably extreme racism
I mean, it's fucking funny.
and
Let me guess, that's the one he stopped after. He
Yes.
stopped.
I mean, yeah, he basically stopped after that, but it wasn't because of the racism bit. It was because of money disputes, and he's a very private guy. And when people are trying to get like interviews and paparazzi is breaking into the toilet, he got sick of it and he took it out on the producers, and he felt like he wasn't getting paid enough money for it, and he eventually just parted ways. And it shows in his performance. Yeah, Daniel Craig complained a lot. He was the best anti-commercial for his movies. Spectre was a big factor for that. I know now, a lot of people say, "Oh, he actually really loves and cares about the character," but it just doesn't show. Like even that when he's giving a rap speech on No Time to Die, you know, I'm sure it was from a well well placed. Like he really meant it, but it doesn't show in his movies and his performances for that matter.
Stopped after that one.
Well, I say that he does give good performances in all of his movies. They just weren't that his persona promoting the movies is what put a lot of people off it.
Yes, well, the Asian women were all freaked out about his body hair, apparently.
Really?
Yes, I do like that film, even though seeing Sean get around in the wig and
Your body hair's
makeup.
fine, Sean.
Yes, exactly.
What's funny is that sequence where he's like Asian, it's only for like 2 or 3 scenes. As soon as like they reach the island, like, he has to fake being Japanese because people are looking, if he's Japanese. And then all of a sudden later on, he goes out with Kissy for like to investigate this cave. And then he like jumps out of the water because it's poison gas. They get out, and then he's back to being normal Sean Connery. It's fucking weird.
Why don't you just dye the parts that show?
So
you probably can't say that today. There's probably some issue with body hair now.
I would worry about the James Bond franchise there, Craig, which had Asian Sean Connery, old man Roger Moore with a very young ice skater.
Okay, all right. Okay. If they don't bring up the fact that Roger Moore, like, rejected that young ice skater, like, he did that. Because Roger Moore basically was like, oh, I'm too old for this. What am I doing? And I will give props to Roger. With some of the girls, he did push back. It's like it feels a bit weird. Like he even admitted he was a bit long in the tooth for it, as his own words. So I do appreciate that. In that moment, he did push that girl away.
Oh, that was creepy. That one.
Pierce Brosnan's invisible.
Okay, it's not creepy. Like Roger Moore clearly pushed that girl away. In For Your Eyes Only, he pushed that girl away. So it's not creepy. He knew how to play it. Like he did not ravish her on the bed. No. He was like, you know what? I'm gonna push this girl away because no, it's too young. And that's Roger Moore's Bond. He fully admitted it. So let's not say, oh, Roger Moore, had sex with this girl. No. It wasn't creepy. He actually pushed her away.
Car and names like Pussy Galore.
Plenty O'Toole.
Yes, like Plenty O'Toole.
Plenty O'Toole. Listen, like that. What's funny, right, is that she only has like 2 scenes, and then like she dies, and that's it. And she's like so memorable. It's crazy.
Describing her ample bosom.
So I know you've said this many a times, Polly, that we should never listen to actors. It is.
I do.
And if things were correct, actors would keep their bloody mouths shut.
Yes.
But do you think Daniel Craig should just maybe shut up now? And
I mean, I think Daniel Craig should shut up. Like, that's just me. I do think he should.
Definitely. Stop talking. Stop thinking, Daniel.
just put on those.
You're not doing enough of it, actually. You should think a bit more.
Just put on those little blue shorts and practice coming out of the water, because that's what you're good at.
Well, first time for everything. What makes you think this is my first time? Oh, Mr. Bond.
Mind you, I've had
I mean, that sequence, like, I know it comes across as gay and, but, like, I always viewed it as, like, Bond's trying to remain calm under pressure. So, like, he's trying to, like, throw it back at him. But, again, I could totally see people thinking the other way. Yes, Daniel Craig, stop anything related with media. I mean, I'm fine with him playing stuff, but it's just shut your mouth about James Bond. He says I've moved on from James Bond, yet he keeps coming back to talking about it.
had a few goes at Pierce Brosnan, who was one of the fan favourites. At least he knew how to ride a motorbike with a girl in the back. Unlike
Okay, all right. So with Brosnan, yeah, at the time he was beloved. I still love him. I loved him when people were championing Daniel Craig. But I'm gonna be real, I did see a lot of Brosnan bashing during the Craig era because he was too silly and all that. He was this and this and this and that, and I was like, yeah, but he was James Bond and he played it perfectly.
Daniel Craig, who rode bitch on the back of a scooter with a woman driving.
Oh,
Okay, I see. The thing is, I know a lot of people don't like that. I totally get it. That being said, it is her bike, and she purposely tampered his vehicle, right? So in terms of the story, it makes sense. I don't think I wouldn't want James Bond in that situation, but I get it for the story.
Now, I know we're in modern times and I sound like an old misogynist pig, but it's James Bond,
James
for fuck's
Bond.
sake.
I'm sorry, he was a misogynist, and you know what? We enjoyed it.
James Bond doesn't
Yeah, James Bond is a sexist, misogynist dinosaur, and he's awesome.
ride bitch. Not for anyone.
We didn't take it too seriously watching it. That's what you've got to grasp, right? Like, it was just stupid fun, you know, full of glamorous women, and I wanted a padded door so badly.
Yeah, I mean, it was unique. The Bond series before it was ahead of its time, and even in that sort of time space of like, oh, James Bond is, you know, it was of the time, and it sort of turned out to be timeless.
From watching James Bond, I loved all the architecture.
It's not just the padded door; it's the double door for
Yeah.
telling secrets behind.
was so
it's got
good.
the airlock in between.
And
Yeah, it's a great little detail.
all the glamour, and the women are beautiful, and they don't have leading ladies like that anymore.
But this is the problem with continuing to try and make.
I mean, there are leading ladies like that, Sydney Sweeney, but like, will they incorporate them into films? Who knows? Who knows?
James Bond, like they've got a new James Bond now.
Yeah.
No. I know this was 3 weeks ago, but no James Bond casting has happened as of this date of the 20th of March. No James Bond has happened. No casting has happened. Nothing. Let's get this straight. Until I see an actual like announcement, because I think they're still in the scripting phase of phase of the new James Bond movie. So why would they do that? But I digress. No James Bond casting at all.
And Sky the other
It's always a rumor. It's not a report. It's all bullshit.
day, he looks way too young. James Bond's from a time.
Yes.
He should
a
stay in that
beautiful,
time.
magical time.
Yes, where women were attractive, no one was fat.
Yeah.
You could smoke and not die. Alcohol was good for you.
Throw down 10 martinis.
Yep, and then
Hell yeah, freaking great. What, you need to check out that cough? It didn't sound healthy. Oh, it's just a bit of Sydney Sweeney. Sorry.
drive in a sports car at 100 kilometres or miles an hour to get home.
Well, looking fabulous.
Yep, for some banging action back on the couch while someone tries to drop a spider on your face to kill you.
Fucking that tarantula, that's hilarious. I think it is honestly unbelievable that, you know, the commentary of like the director saying like, oh, it was a venomous spider and all that. It's like, dude, it's a fucking tarantula.
I actually think that Austin Powers did so much for the Bond franchise.
Oh, he brought a whole new audience to it.
Yeah, he did.
He made you love them even more.
Exactly. And all I see in that movie is love. The love.
Yeah. The Austin Powers movies were made from a place of love, and I really respect that and love it.
He has for that era.
Well, he made it for his father. It might have been after his father died. I don't know.
Oh.
I should check.
Yeah, that was his tribute to his father, and it does feel like it came from a place of love. And you know, no matter what your opinions of the films are, if they're good or not, I know some people think they're overly too campy, like they're overly too jokey, and some of it being too crude. I don't think that's right. Personally, I think they're hilarious and they're funny, but even they can't deny that the Austin Powers movies were made from a place of love and respect for the source material, and not a way of insulting the past.
That, but his father loved spy movies, loved James Bond,
Yeah.
and it was a love letter to those times sharing with his dad watching James
Yeah, that's
Bond
great.
films. So you can definitely
You
tell.
can see the love through the whole thing.
Yeah, and it makes you appreciate those films more,
It
and the
does.
quirks, and
Yeah.
the funny names, and the setup, and how cool everything was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was colorful, vibrant, and bloody gorgeous. Like the women were drop dead gorgeous.
Austin Powers is out of place, but you know he's the cool one in the film.
Yeah, he is. It's true. Like, yeah, it's a magical era, and I think he captured it again that second time around. And I don't think you did, Daniel. Sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah, Daniel Craig, like he started off good. I know a lot of people really love his Bond, and I don't. But you know, I think he's better than George Lazenby. I think his Skyfall performance is top tier Bond. It's top tier, but in terms of the state of the franchise he left it, it's probably in worse condition than when Pierce Brosnan left it. I know a lot of people say, "Oh, Pierce Brosnan killed the franchise." No, no, no. Daniel Craig potentially killed the franchise. Now, I'm hoping Amazon uh, fix it. Well, not fixes it, helps it out. But as of right now, I'm very hesitant.
Exactly.
I also think Austin Powers had better leading ladies than the Daniel Craig Bond movies.
Yeah, and I remember who Dr. Evil is. For $1,000, I couldn't tell you the name of the big baddie in Casino Royale.
Le Chiffre. It's Le Chiffre. Played by Mads Mikkelsen, really great villain. I really like him. Again, it's mainly purely because of Mads Mikkelsen performance. He's fantastic in the film. But if he would have said something from Quantum of Solace, totally would have understood. Dominic Green is a shit villain.
It's weird, and yet I remember watching it and thinking it was a well-made, really good movie.
Yeah, it's a good film.
You know, it's a really good movie, but it doesn't feel like Bond.
No, and I don't.
Yeah, I mean, I totally get that. And like my grandpa, he's a really big Bond fan. He enjoyed the later Bond films than Casino Royale and Quantum of Solace because at least with those films, they did try and feel like Bond. Not great, but at least they did try.
Don't know whose anyone's names are, but I do know Fat Bastard, Dr. Evil, Austin, a lot of vagina. I remember so many names, so many good times. Don't forget Goldmember, who ate skin.
That was a classy movie.
Oh, that's a keeper. That's a keeper.
Hang on. Hang on. You're going way off.
That's a keeper.
Sorry, Daniel. You're wrong about this one.
You're wrong.
You're wrong.
Yeah, I agree. He is wrong.
So piss off. Don't forget to sign up to...
Okay, so that was Robot Head's video on Who Killed James Bond. Now, I don't think James Bond is dead. I think it's a franchise that will endure because James Bond will always be there. I mean, again, I don't think James Bond, like the franchise, is dead. I don't think Austin Powers killed James Bond. I don't think Daniel Craig killed James Bond. I don't think Brosnan or any of the previous Bonds killed James Bond. But I will say that James Bond, during the Craig era, has reduced itself to a movie franchise. And what I think Amazon is trying to do is they're trying to revitalize the series. Yeah, I think what's the Craig era left was they were trying to be avant-garde in terms of their direction in the movies. But I just think that when the Craig era, like what the Craig era left behind was like there was no video games, there's a lot of things that like the IP holders were very protective of, and unfortunately, the James Bond sort of franchise was kind of stagnant. It was just left between the movies, couple of books, I believe, and like a couple of like props and all that sort of product placement stuff, and it wasn't great. Like, so it was a bit of a, I don't know, like, and the Amazon era seems to be like, all right, we got the new James Bond game coming out, First Light. We've got TV shows, we've got spin-offs. They're trying to overcompensate for the lack of content during the Craig era. Now, will it pay off? Personally, I don't know, and that's my worry. If you keep James Bond as one guy and they keep going forward every couple of years, you're gravy. But everything with shared universes and all that, that's my worry for James Bond. Old James Bond is okay, but unless they do something major, it's tarnished. See, I don't think so. I think James Bond can still be salvaged because it is a proper IP. Like, it is a enduring IP. I think the Craig era, you know, despite what a lot of people think now, it did make money, and a lot of people do enjoy those movies. I don't agree. I think classic Bond is always ripen there, but I think the James Bond franchise is lessened with the Craig era because of the lack of prominence in younger people. You know, the Brosnan era, people said James Bond. People immediately thought of Pierce Brosnan, Sean Connery, Roger Moore, Timothy Dalton. Now you say, oh, George Lazenby, even to some extent. With the Craig era now, you know, you say James Bond. Some younger people, they go, who? And it fucking sucks. Yes, I agree. Can be salvaged, but not with DG nor that new game they're pushing. Oh, yeah. So Daniel Craig pretty much is gone, so he's not a thing. I think the James Bond game might be able to do fine. I'm really excited for it because it is the first Bond game since 007's Legends, which was a shit game. I fucking hate that. First proper James Bond AAA game. And it's the first third-person AAA James Bond game since 007 Bloodstone in 2010. So it's been a long time since James Bond has been in video games proper. Now, will it be good? I don't know. I do want to stream it though. I want to stream it and I do want to make a video on it because I really love James Bond and the trailers. I'm not gonna lie, I enjoyed it. They look cool, but yeah. So those are my thoughts on the video as well as James Bond as a whole as to who killed James Bond. Personally, I don't think James Bond is dead. I think it's just in a Daniel Craig. I kind of got that mixed, but personally, I think James Bond series is sort of in a limbo sort of state with no new Bond movie. So when Bond comes back with its movie, you know, I will hope it will hopefully come back with a splash. I don't really trust that game. The more they show, the more I fear for it. I kind of get where you're coming from. Personally, like, I mean, it has a really nice it's got a. They're trying to blend the Daniel Craig sort of grounded nature with it, with the classic sort of quippy and sort of quips and lighthearted approach. I feel like if they can pull that off, then we should be golden. But like again, my only concern for that game is it's actually to do with a feature. It's a gameplay feature. It's the license to kill feature. Now they did elaborate that basically when license to kill is activated, then you're able to go guns a blazing. But besides that, you can't. I'm not really too keen on that. But yeah, those are my thoughts on Who Killed James Bond, the video. I thought Robot Head did a good job with the video. A couple things, you know, here and there, I'm like, that Roger Moore bit, I'm like, it's not creepy. He actually pushed the girl away. But besides that, quite liked it. But Robot Head, if you are watching this, please let me know what is up with the ad. I'm gonna be honest, I don't trust it, and it's kind of weird. But you know, in terms of your video, is good. But yeah, if you like the video, please subscribe and take care and have a good one, everyone. Bye, guys.